Hello everyone, welcome to Christmas in July 2019, hosted by DawnH Creates. There's quite a few of us in this collab. I think some like 20 to 25. All the participants will be linked down below. I'm just one of those many. So and we have a theme. Each Saturday we're going to post anytime on Saturday, and in the month of July, and this week's theme was metallic Christmas, and I had several ideas. My problem was I didn't have enough time to do all the ideas that came to my mind, so I did cards and I'll show them to you now. Before I do that, I'll tell you I mostly used paper out of this paper pad that had been unopened. It's from Craftsmith, copyright 2017. I think I got this last year, but I could have gotten it 2 years ago. Anyway, it had never been opened, and it had a lot of different silver foiling pages in it. So I used some of those, and then I also used for one of the cards this retired Stampin' Up! Paper. Let's see what it was called. It was called Year of Cheer, so I still have that. And I did use some mirror card silver shiny paper from paperwishes.com, and then I had pulled out some other things to use, and I didn't, and I'll go through any stamp sets I used or other dies as we go, and punches and things. So anyway, the first card I did is this one. This is the one of the papers out of that what was that paper pad called? It was called Ice Crystals paper pad. These I used Stampin' Up! Dies that are still current, called Merry Christmas Thinlits dies. They were in the last seasonal catalog. They were a bundle. They're no longer bundled, but you can get the dies separately, and it goes with this stamp set, which I might have used on one card, I'm not sure. Anyway, I cut that out of the silver mirror foil instead of the Stampin' Up! Silver. I put this on Sahara Sand Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and the paper that I cut this out of, I cut it first to be the size for a border around the cardstock, the designer cardstock, and then I just glued down. I did not put that up on layers. I thought I didn't want it real dimensional. And the inside, I just put a piece of Whisper White and a piece of the mirror, a strip of the mirror cardstock, sorry, a little dot there. And that is all I did on the first one. The second one is very similar, except that I added this Stampin' Up! Product called Metallic Edge Ribbon. It's in very vanilla Whisper White with silver. Same thing really, except that before I glued down the designer paper, which is on the silver, I glued them together first, and then, oh no I didn't, I just wrapped this around. This is a fake bow. I wrapped the ribbon around the top layer of cardstock, taped it down, then glued it onto the silver mirror finish. Then I took another piece of the ribbon and just tied it onto the piece that wrapped around. And on the inside I did the same thing, just a piece of Whisper White. I keep getting these little flecks. So that's the second one, Whisper White with a piece of mirror finish. The third one, I pulled out this greenish piece of paper from the same paper pad. It actually didn't have any embossing, and I had my original idea was different than how it ended up. Well, here is what the one side looked like, and originally I was going to do a 6x6 and leave that on, but a 6x6 actually cuts off the tip of the tree, so that idea kind of went down. And then I thought, well, I'll just cut it. I cut the other side of it and made a 6x6, and this paper, when you fold and score it, it actually tears a little bit, so that didn't work out. But it's like a green wood grain. So what I decided to do is take my winter wood stamp from Stampin' Up, which is still current. I took this tree and I heat embossed it in silver embossing. And I also stamped, I tried doing this not directly on the card, and I didn't like having extra layers up here near the tree. So I stamped directly onto this paper and heat embossed Merry Christmas, which didn't get perfect. This is a cut apart from the paper. There's like strips of things. So I just cut off a tree and put it down here on the corner, and that sort of hides the little design that was there. It's also like a wood grain. And I took a little strip of the mirror paper, put it over here. And then the last thing I did on this is I took my Stampin' Up Frost White shimmer paint, it's called. It's actually by Sunico, but Stampin' Up sells it. And I took my Wink of Stella, so I shook it real good, and then I did the splatter effect. You know, I put my Wink of Stella into the little bit in the lid, and I splattered it all over the card. I did that before I glued this down, actually, so it would look like snow falling. So I think you can see the dots there. And then I also took this and I just lightly went over the tips of the branches in the frost white on the silver embossed. And it sort of dulled it, but it also made it look like a little bit of snow. I actually could probably do a little more of that. So then I was happier with that card. And inside I just took another one of the trees and a piece of the green cardstock, which I think is light enough to write on. And I left it at that. The fourth card, I did 5 cards. The fourth card uses that retired Stampin' Up paper. I put it on thick Whisper White with a piece of Sahara sand. Actually, I believe I was mistaken. These are actually gray granite, both of them. This is on Sahara sand in the background as a matte. And then, because I thought that was sort of closest to the champagne without using a metallic, since the whole sheet is metallic. This is one of the layering ovals. It's the largest scalloped oval that Stampin' Up had in their layering ovals. And I'll put links to the Stampin' Up items at some point, maybe not right away. And then this is from a set which I thought was current, but I am mistaken. They did discontinue. I used this stamp here, and I also used Joy and Love, sorry for the glare, here. So I stamped that with Versamark, and then I heat embossed it with copper embossing powder, and then I used the champagne shimmer frost with the Wink of Stella and painted in the little hollow parts of the leaves. And I also did the little dots here, and here in champagne mist shimmer paint. I heat embossed the Joy and Love also, flagged it with a triple banner punch, and I did use the linen thread to tie a bow and also wrap around down here. And this oval and this are bumped up on dimensionals. So that is card number 4. And inside I left it blank, but I did put it on Sahara sand and bumped it up again. So that's that one. And the last one, I went back to the other paper pad. There was this beautiful pale blue snowflake paper, and I wanted to use that. And also this is a cut apart from that same paper pad that says Merry and Bright. Well, this stamp set I have is called Making Christmas Bright, and it had May Your Christmas Be, and then I thought Merry and Bright went with that. So I debated about putting this on the inside, but I wanted, this was a little bit of a struggle because I have learned that not all white papers are created the same. So Stampin' Up's Whisper White, you can see, is a Whisper White. It's not a bright white. So it's a different color. So the first time I heat embossed it, I didn't even realize that. And when I put it with this one, it didn't look right. So I had to go back. This is actually a piece of this paper turned upside down because it's a whiter white, if you will, on the other side. and I heat embossed May Your Christmas Be Bright from here, or May Your Christmas Be from here, in silver embossing powder, and Merry and Bright down here. Now this is the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch by Stampin' Up, and these snowflakes are actually a Martha Stewart punch, which I got at Tuesday Morning back in 2017. It's called Punch Alpine Snowflake, and I really like that snowflake. I sold some of my other ones, but that one I really do enjoy. And I just glued them on the back of this with glue dots, and then I bumped this up on dimensionals, and this same thing. And then these little blue dots are actually Stampin' Up 2019 to 2021 in color faceted dots in the Seaside Spray color, because I put this all on the Seaside Spray cardstock, which is not exactly the same blue, but it's pretty close. Balmy Blue could have been another choice that would have been similar. And then inside I just did a piece of actually Whisper White with one more of the snowflakes cut out. And up here, this is a retired snowflake trinket from last year. Oops, which I don't know if I still have them out. Yeah, I do. They're no longer available. They were a holiday special, November only. And I have a lot of them left, so I'm using them. And what I did is I put that on the silver metallic thread, which is still available. I doubled it, and then I taped it onto the back, and then I glued down the back, the card to the Seaside Spray. So that is my 5th card. I hope you enjoyed my metallic Christmas this time. I can't wait to see what everyone else makes. I really had thought about doing something non-card, but I just didn't have time, guys. I'm so far behind in some things already again. So here are my 5 cards. Sorry for the glare. Let me unglare it for you a little bit. Maybe up a little bit. There we go. Well, the glare just moves wherever I put it. So there we go. At some point over the weekend, I'll put any Stampin' Up items down below with links if you're interested in any that are still available. Mostly just the cardstock, the embossing powders, and some punches and words and ribbon. But most of the other things, I'm not affiliated with any of the companies whose other products I used, but I have them in my stash and I wanted to use some of them, and I think they turned out pretty. They're simple cards, sort of, except for doing all the heat embossing and things. I didn't go with any fancy folds or anything this time, but I think they're effective nonetheless. So alright guys, that's all for now. Please hop along to the others and show everyone some crafty love, and especially give a shout out to DawnH Creates, Dawn, hi Dawn, for hosting this wonderful Christmas in July. It's really good because I hadn't done any Christmas cards this year, and well, maybe 1 or 2 early in the year. I really need to. So thank you for getting us started. Okay. And I don't know, I might not always do cards, and you'll have to come back next week to see what the theme is for next week. It will be different, okay? It's all Christmas, but different. All right, guys. Hugs, love, and peace. Until the next time.